Do I do it?
We're live.
Live from across the world. It's Saturday night with Ricefield Records from Japan and Uncle Dan the Vinyl Man from places unknown. And I don't know, somewhere or another. Anyway, there you are. We're here. We're live. We're live with we're talking to you. We're talking to y'all. Okay, what we got going tonight? We're hitting it because we got 1 hour. I've been told we got 1 hour. 1 hour. What have I got to say? We have 1 hour, and we got anybody here?
No.
No?
Oh, three people. Three. No, hold on. Three. Identify yourselves.
Okay, yeah, we got, ask us questions.
Yes.
Ask us, for God's sake, ask us questions.
Yeah, we're here to solve your problems.
That's right, yeah.
Not legal problems, right?
Here's yes, that's right. I'm not going to give you legal advice. I will say don't go on any submarines you don't know. Don't take any carbon fiber submarines. That's not legal advice, but I will offer that advice.
Otherwise, how do the people find you? Do they find you on a matchbook cover?
As a lawyer?
On a billboard?
No, most of our work. The guys back in Washington State.
Yeah.
I gotten a couple of referrals from people, and then I do just a lot of work for my buddies back there, and they network a bunch. They go to luncheons, and they hand out cards. And what's the best thing for persistent diarrhea? Return to the UK, Stevie. Go back to the UK. Stop being there. That's the problem. I mean, the location. It's location, Stevie. And you need to. You're in a place that doesn't like you. I'm not going to say whether it's appropriate that it doesn't like you. But that place doesn't like you. So why don't you leave?
Doesn't like you.
The bacteria there don't like you. And there are more bacteria in this world than people. So listen to the bacteria. They're wiser than us. They'll outlast us. So, the bacteria are saying, go back home.
Yeah.
Go home. Go there. Other than that, you can, for persistent diarrhea, you can just stop eating anything and drink only imported, purified, absolutely distilled water, and try not to breathe anything and don't shower, so that you reduce your, and stay inside a bubble in your hotel room or something. And that, after a while, the persistent diarrhea will go away. You'll waste away to nothing. And, if you keep on, you'll die. But, it gets rid of it. Death is also a cure for persistent diarrhea. It's a cure for most things.
But you're giving medical advice right now.
No.
No?
No. If anybody took this advice, they'd be insane. So let's talk about you don't have any new records. I know you. You sad excuse for a vinyl communitarian. I did a video on this. Everybody loves. Make me big.
That was a really good video. That was you opened up new frontiers,
new depths
in goofball videos, and
new depths.
It is a compliment. It's a new genre in the VC, and it's something that I partake of. Stevie partakes of. Bobby, when he's making videos, he partakes of, and you partake of.
Why, for God's sake, why do we want to be serious about this? Good Lord.
I know.
We're just goofing around. Why not goof around? Okay, so Mr. Acker Bilk.
Yes.
And A Stranger on the Shore was a huge hit back in 1962. You don't remember that, but you were only 5. And the prions have gotten to you already. I've been meaning to talk to you about that. But
the what? The what?
The prions, prions, prions.
What is that?
See, if they hadn't gotten to you, you would know. Those are the things that eat holes in your brain. Mad cow disease and stuff like that. See, in fact, Jakob Creutzfeldt disease.
I don't know. That wasn't running rampant in Nassau County, Long Island, where I grew up.
Well, you don't know. I mean, the fact that you can't remember it, I mean, that's bad. And it's also what.
Should I go to a doctor? Are you giving medical advice again?
No, I'm not giving medical advice. Anyway, back in '62, this was all over the place. Stranger on the Shore was. Mr. Bilk was. There was at the time, and I've got another couple albums by a guy named Monty Sunshine, who was another British clarinetist. I like clarinet, clarinet jazz, and so these guys were big in it, and they played basically fake Dixieland. Then they played it well, and I've got no real complaints about that. They played, but they loved Dixieland. They played fake Dixieland and played it quite well. And then Mr. Acker Bilk, I have to keep calling him Mr. because that was Mr. I mean, it's right there, and make no doubt about it. It's on the back too, Mr. Acker Bilk.
Isn't bilk a verb? Like, don't you?
Yes, to bilk somebody, bilk somebody out of their money, or in this case, bilk somebody out of the cost of the album. Anyway, Stranger on the Shore was a huge hit, easy listening. Bilk found that he could bilk people more easily by playing, by performing easy listening. And so he went the route that, others did. I mean, there were people who were, kind of serious. I mean, Andre Castellanos started off as and Mantovani, I can't remember Mantovani's first name, but they started off as actual, conductors, right? Serious.
How long did Mr. Bilk's career go in? For example, did he go into the 60s? Could he have played at the Fillmore East in New York?
He could have. He would have been lynched. But I don't know when he died. I should look that up, but except it's really not. He's really not that important to me.
I mean, Bill Graham did bring some unique acts to the Fillmore. That's why I was saying.
Yeah, and Martin Scorsese had Neil Diamond of all people on for The Last Waltz, and it's like, okay, Neil Diamond, the Jewish Elvis, okay, love him or not, he had a set of pipes, and he did what he did very well. If you like that, you like it. And some of it's not bad. Cracklin' Rosie is, one of the great songs about masturbation.
Sweet Caroline.
Sweet Caroline. I mean, it's so sweet. It's fine. I mean, he's kind of belty. But what now?
Oh, nothing. I'm just a little housekeeping thing. I'm nothing that concerns this live stream.
Okay. Well, anyway, and I knew this Stranger on the Shore actually from a Billy Vaughn album, but and I've got a number of Billy Vaughn albums which I quite like. Billy Vaughn's and it's Billy Vaughn Greatest Hits of 1962, which is quite is actually quite fun. Anyway, a bunch of people did covered Stranger on the Shore after it was a big hit. There were just tons of covers out, all in the easy listening crowd, right? So you can go out.
It never had vocals.
No, it never had vocals. No, not so far as I know.
Didn't Dinah Shore, some of these other female?
Somebody may have written vocals to it, but it was originally written just as a clarinet piece.
Was it used in a soundtrack of a movie?
It could have been. I don't know.
Okay. I mean, I think if we're gonna go, we're gonna dive into cheese. We might as well do a deep dive into cheese.
Oh man, a deep dive into cheese. Yeah. This reminds me of Wallace and Gromit. I know. Let's go someplace where there's cheese. Yeah.
I interrupted your train of thought. Let's go to the liner notes.
Liner notes. Oh my God, the liner notes are just nuts. I mean, this guy capitalizes. Peter Leslie was. I did look him up. He was a publicist for Acker Bilk, and I'm not sure they liked Acker Bilk, but he was a publicist for him and got paid for churning out words that were made sentences. And but this one is like he says that Bilk gallops off post haste to the phonographic recording manufactory Dare to commit to memory the tunes of the most mellifluous variety.
I think those were the days where people were paid by the word.
Oh, my God. But this part, insert his head, shoulders, and instrument within the larger end of the recording horn and give of his best. And that sounds obscene or scatological. And it's like, I'm not sure that Miss Peter Leslie actually liked him. Turned out that later Peter Leslie wrote some thrillers. I thought about, I found some. You can find them there. He wrote some thrillers and wrote stuff set in Chicago in the 1920s. It's like, and he was a Brit. I'm sure it was, very authentic. So anyway, it's kind of a fun album though. And this was sealed. I thought I bought it on the assumption that it was from '62, but then as you saw when I opened it on live stream, I realized that it could not possibly be from 1962 because it's got tubular bells and all sorts of things that Layla, and just I was like, oh yeah, tubular bells is the first thing I noticed. It's like, yeah, that ain't it. Daryl Hall and Oates, and one of Emerson, Lake and Palmer, which is like, oh my God. I know there are people who like prog rock. I don't understand it. I think it's a mental disorder.
So it's a
reissue. It was a reissue. What was that?
It's a reissue.
Yeah, it was a reissue from '73. But it sounded fine. The vinyl was fine. Next thing I got I was at Mill City Sound yesterday and in Hopkins, Minnesota, and I picked up a little Milton.
Oh, I like him.
Yeah, and this is from '53, '54, Hitting the Boogie with Sam Phillips. And man, his playing on here is really tough. Just some really stinging guitar, great vocals, and very, very, this is it really hits the spot for me. It really hits the spot for me. Very, very down home.
What kind of tracks are on it? Originals? Or he does all covers, right?
Well, I don't know whether he did all covers or not. Looking for My Baby, Rode That Train All Night Long. I Want You Baby, Running Wild Blues. A lot of these, I don't know if they're his or somebody else's. A lot of the blues stuff, it was kind of like, yeah, it was somebody's. I Love My Baby, If Crime Would Help Me, I'll See You Some Sweet Day. Houston Boynes with Little Milton, Standing in the Courthouse Crying. That was a fun one.
Guess that's a divorce.
Yeah.
Right?
And
Standing in the Courthouse Crying.
Yeah. So yeah. But yeah, great, just great guitar work. This was clearly not taken in 1953 or 4 because I don't know if you can see he's playing a Flying V, which came out in '58.
Why was he called Little Milton and not Big Milton? Do we know?
I don't know. I'll look that up. But a lot of the guys were called Little Milton. But like Magic Slim, great later guitarist, Morris Holt, known as Magic Slim.
Yeah, I love that.
Magic Slim was he was a big old boy. So he may have been slim at some time, but he was not when he was popular. I met him. I saw him at Seattle. I don't know if it was Folk Life or Bumbershoot, one of the two.
Yeah.
I think it was Bumbershoot, but I could be wrong. And got him to sign a copy of his CD, Black Tornado, which is a superb CD.
How old was he at the time? So you're talking about, you met him in the 80s.
Magic Slim. This is Magic Slim, not Little Milton. Magic Slim.
No, I know. I know he died young, right? Magic Slim.
Magic Slim died fairly young. This was in the 2000s. This was about 2003, I think. Magic Slim at the time probably would have been in his early 50s, maybe early 60s. He was not, maybe early 60s, as I think about it. But he was huge. But he was like, I'm 5'11", and he was just like towering over me, and he shook hands with me. And his hand was just like wrapped around mine a couple of times. Big guy. Great guitarist. I don't have any vinyl by Magic. No, I got one. I've got him on one vinyl that I should show sometime. I picked this up because, this is one we had when I was a kid, and
Yep.
Just picked that up, and it does have things. It's watching the river flow is not on anything else.
Right.
And not that's the first one.
That's the greatest hits. That's
The greatest hits volume 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had both of them. I always liked this one a lot. I always loved Just Like Tom Tom's Blues, one of my favorites. And I always my back pages. Don't think twice. It's all right. That if I don't really want a funeral, but if they do, if people want to have something for me when I'm dead, I just want that.
We have a fun fact.
Thank you, Susan. You looked something up. Far be it from me to do anything like that.
Okay, so big Milton, little Milton, just senior, junior, had nothing to do with size.
Yeah. I don't know how big Milton was. I thought he looked like a pretty good sized boy. But I don't know. I picked this up, Howlin Wolf compilation on 180 gram. I haven't had a chance to listen to it. I mean, I know all the songs, of course, and it's sealed for $33, 2 discs, 180 grams.
You're going to use a switchblade to open that up? What are you going to use to open that up with?
Well,
I just used a Bowie, used a big knife previously.
Well, I mean,
and I'm just kind of wondering what you're going to use to open up that Howlin Wolf.
Well, I don't know. Why wouldn't I just use the same knife?
You could, but you're a man with so many turntables. I figured you might have more than one knife.
I have a bunch. Switchblades. This is not a switchblade, by the way. Switchblades are illegal in Minnesota.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What is that? That's is that like a Swiss Army knife? It seems like it
No.
has more than one.
No, it's just got one blade. It's got a clip on it. This is $5 from Walmart.
Nice.
But the catch doesn't work anymore. So
it was quite impressive in your video. Well, no, really, it looked like a big knife. Hey, what? I'm the viewer.
Yeah, well, I put it out farther, so. I carry this knife all the time, actually. I use it for opening packages and, fishing. I cut line and
yep.
I use it constantly. When I was a kid, all grown men carried a pocket knife. You just carried a pocket knife.
I was in the Boys. I was in the Cub Scouts.
Yeah.
I still have my Cub Scout knife.
Yeah, you carry a pocket knife, and I don't know. Yeah. So I carry a pocket knife. When I went to the hospital about 6 weeks or so ago. I went in and they said, "Well, do you have any weapons on you?" And I thought for a moment. I said, "Well, I've got a pocket knife." And the nurse said, "Well, do you intend to use that as a weapon?" I said, "No." And she said, "Well, we don't care." Where I live, that's guy comes in with a pocket knife or whatever. It ain't gonna be nothing. And then anyway, my last one, Junior Kimbrough and the Soul Boys, Soul Blues Boys, all night long.
I don't know.
Junior Kimbrough came to prominence later in the 80s, 90s, and he was. I thought he was recorded on Fat Possum. This is Fat Possum. He was recorded by Fat Possum, which came along and started doing. Fat Possum started doing recordings of of Junior Kimbrough and a few others, T Model Ford and stuff, people like that, who were still they were older. I mean, they were not kids, but they were still down in the Delta, the Mississippi Delta region.
What's that? Oh, it's tea. It's tea. It's green tea. Actually, we brew it at home. It is the morning here. I do not drink in the morning hours. Okay.
I don't see. I was looking. Or was that a question? I'm not seeing all the questions.
Oh, no. We had Stevie who asked, "What's the best thing for persistent diarrhea?" And last one is Wyoming Dave.
Hey, Wyoming Dave. Good to see you.
Who was kind of out of pocket for a while.
Yeah, and I seem to have run off pickup artist. Dave, the pickup artist. So I'm sorry. I'm very sorry about that.
Oh, he hasn't arrived today.
Yeah.
He's a funny guy.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Junior Kimbrough is real. I mean, this is real deep stuff. I mean, the guy was real deep. He was playing, and this is really great stuff. I've had his stuff on CD, and I just picked this up the other day. I've got it on CD as well. I've listened to it many times on CD. Done Got Old is just great. But yeah, he was still playing really deep blues back into the 90s. In juke joints in Mississippi. He was still playing he was playing like they were in the 40s and 50s and 60s. He just kept playing. T. Model Ford was kind of the same way. My favorite album, just because of the title by Junior Kimbrough, is Most Things Haven't Worked Out, which is just, I think, like an ideal blues title. So yeah.
I'd like to take a question here, if you don't mind, from Brad Thiel, who asks, "Are you enjoying your retirement in Japan?" Yes, I am.
Okay. Yeah, boy, that was a thorough exploration of that topic. Why are you enjoying your entire retirement in Japan, Mr. Ricefield Records?
Well, I don't have to work anymore. It's quiet. I'm unique. I'm about to move to a new home next week, and it's an interesting place to retire. It's not easy. It's not like going up Puerto Vallarta. Got a little bit more moving parts than that. But yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Well,
okay.
Well, good.
Thank you.
Any other questions from anybody? I just we didn't have a topic tonight.
No, we didn't.
Other than Uncle Dan being crazy. You folks, if you haven't seen it, go to my channel and watch my most recent video, which is probably going to get me banned from YouTube. I don't know.
I don't think so.
No. There are channels about people shooting guns and stuff on there. I mean, you can, some channels. I mean, I'm watching stuff about the Russo-Ukraine war, and they got people getting killed.
I would say that your use of the knife on the clear plastic wrap around the wrapper and the way you talked was kind of exciting. I kind of felt a little excited down there. I felt the need to question my sexuality.
Well, that's the way. Yeah, I mean, I tell you,
you must have been quite the lothario when you were a younger man.
The truth is that I'm. You
were adorable.
I'm like, yeah. Look, man. I mean, my. I was. Even in grade school, they called me Mr. Brainiac and Mr. Science, called me Mr. Science Fiction, although I wasn't reading science fiction at the time, but I was a good student. I was always a good student, Now, I was always the scholarly sort, So, yeah, I mean, although I've always had this, kind of wild sense of humor, but I've also, no, I was never a lothario. I was perfectly capable of entirely missing that women were hitting on me. Just like, I'd get hit on and just be like, and I'd be like, I wonder why she's doing that, So no, I was not the lothario at all. Nor am I nor any interest in being, I've always been, just a goofball, so. Yeah. Susan is saying, yes, he was. Sure, no. That's really not true.
When you were in high school, what were the groups of kids divided up into? And the reason why I ask is I just got contacted by a woman that I grew up with and haven't heard from her in probably since high school. We've reconnected.
Your wife doesn't want you talking to her.
No, that's not it. She reminded me of something, and that was in Connecticut, where I went to high school. There were three types of students in school. There were the jocks, there were the freaks, and there were the greasers.
Man, that was a really old high school. I just
yeah.
Greaser still, and I mean we're the same age. Did you graduate? When did you graduate? 75?
Yeah, 75. You did not have that type of delineation when you were in high school?
Greasers, man. No.
Well, it was.
And freaks, no. But you know, I went to a high school. I mean, we had a graduating class of 47, right? Well, 46. The Friday before graduation, one of the guys bought it. They'd been out at the senior picnic, which was kind of in, you know, permitted in a way. And I didn't go because I helped my brother Al lay brick that day. I worked that day to earn money, but one of the guys bought it. So, you know, I don't know what the groups were. There were, you know, one thing with my high school was that it was about 50% black.
Right.
And so that may have been a division. At the time there was, you know, I mean, at the time it was, you know, in my high school, it was deeply uncool to be racist. Although I did later hear racist comments from some people I went to high school with. But in high school, I didn't hear that. Probably because we always had a good basketball team. Later, the team went on to win 17 state championships between 76 and 2010 or something like that. Won a bunch of state championships. And it's small, class 1A. But, you know, there were jocks, although it wasn't really, you know, I don't remember there being real groups. I mean, and I was, you know, I was kind of an oddity. I was just, you know, I was, you know, I was, you know, sort of an odd guy out. Just, you know, I had some friends, but, you know, I was just, you know, I was the guy who was always reading and stuff like that. So
my high school allowed smoking in between classes. They had the designated smoking areas.
We didn't have that. Smoking was not permitted at my high school at all.
I think Brad is being a wise guy.
Yeah, did I have the beard? No, I started growing my beard 2 years ago. Not quite 2 years ago. My daughter said she was up one day and I had been busy. She was up and I'd been busy all day, and I hadn't had a shower and hadn't shaved. And I said, finally, she said she wanted around 4. I was like, you know, what do you want to do to eat? Because she hadn't had lunch. And she said, well, let's go have an early lunch and dinner at Freddy's, a local diner. And I said, I've got to shave then. I got to shower and shave. I haven't had a chance to shower and shave. And she said, you can shower, but don't shave. And so I went to, I said, well, okay. She said, I want you to grow a beard. And she doesn't want me to cut it still. She doesn't want me even to trim it, although I have trimmed some. I mean, some of it, or especially my mustache gets crazy. But yeah, I didn't have a beard back then. I was clean shaven.
Why did she want you to shave it? Is she like a closet Amish?
I don't know. And the Amish, by the way, you know, I would never be mistaken for an Amish because of the mustache. The Amish men do not have mustaches.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. That's right.
Yeah. Which reminds me, I was out on my little sailboat the other day.
Yeah.
And out in the lake here, and I went by a family who were clearly Mennonites. And I say that because they looked like they were Amish, except their clothes had color. And they had a power, you know, the boat had a gasoline motor on it. So chatted with them a bit. They were fishing for sunfish, and I was out. I was out sailing. But there are a fair number of Amish who live here.
No kidding.
Yeah, fair number of Amish around. Yeah.
Sunfish is a good eating fish.
Yeah. I mean, they're small.
Yeah.
You got to catch a bunch of them, and you gotta, you kind of gotta eat them, and kind of pull the bones off as you eat them.
Yeah.
Out of your mouth as you eat them. They're
yeah, I hear you.
Because they're pretty bony. Actually, my sailboat is a sunfish, by the way. It's not the same kind of sunfish. It's a fiberglass sunfish that's 13 feet 9 inches long, but it's a sunfish. But yeah, a lot of people fish for sunfish here, and it's a large category of fish. I mean, it includes a whole bunch of fish.
The fish in my area is all really small. This region off the Seto Inland Sea is known for. It doesn't have big fish. I mean, the big fish is all imported in. And I know you're going to ask me which fish, and they just don't come to mind. But they're all really small boned. And what's really amazing is that the way Japanese eat fish, I mean, they eat them with chopsticks, and they're just able to separate the meat from the bones in the most extraordinary manner. I mean, it's like surgery. They're so good at it.
I haven't watched Japanese do that, but I've watched Korean. Had one of my friends had from my second stint in grad school, Lawrence Musgrove, great guy. Lawrence had a Korean friend, very guy he's very close with him. Lawrence and I had gone up, and our families had gone camping, and the Korean family came up and grilled for us, and we also had a rainbow trout that I caught, a nice rainbow trout. But they grilled, and their dexterity with their chopsticks was just, kind of disgusting.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, it's just, they would take, they grilled beef, strips of beef, and then they would take their chopsticks and take the beef apart with their chopsticks. It was like they just kind of do a twirl thing, and the beef was in, and they'd break it down. It's like they didn't need knives. Oh, great. That guy was really nice, too. He was a really nice guy. And I didn't get to know his family very well. He had a wife and 1 or 2 kids. They were really nice. But yeah, I'm just drifting.
Are you? Okay. Yeah.
So anyway, that's I've been thinking about linear tracking turntables a lot because you like that Lab 1600 that I did the one video about.
I did. I'm going to be on the lookout. I noticed that the pricing, Sony made that. They're around $300 here. That seems like a going rate. I know you paid a lot less.
Paid $75 for it, yeah.
But
they usually here will go like $100 a quarter to $150, kind of. I just got lucky. A guy who basically he's a picker, and he got it. So. But it's a nice turntable. I like linear trackers. A lot of people don't like them. I've talked about this before. A lot of people don't like them. But I've got some linear trackers that I think are excellent. That one's a great turntable. I love it. That Luxman P406 I have, by the way, and you might be able to find the Luxman there more easily. That's very good. And Pioneer had, and I think Sony had a great higher end linear tracker. Pioneer, I know, had a superb linear tracker that I thought about looking for one, but they'll run like $900,000. And it did have an adjustable counterweight on it, and it used a half inch mount cartridge. My big FFYX T224 is a linear tracker, but it's a modern Chinese linear tracker. And it doesn't have a motor for the tone arm. It's just a very, very rides on an air cushion and just moves very easily. So it doesn't need a motor.
So the realistic, it has a next track button. So it essentially uses lighting to find the space between the tracks. So that if you want to switch over, does it work well?
I haven't even tried it. I almost never mess with those things. I have another one, a Kenwood, that's a lower end one with that feature on it, and I couldn't get it to work. It's supposed to work, but it wouldn't work. I mean, otherwise that Kenwood sounds fine, but
Yeah.
But it, never as nice as that Radio Shack. That Radio Shack is, there are other Radio Shack linear trackers, of course. That one is because the tray thing coming out, it's kind of collectible. So, yeah.
Well, if I'm going to get a second one, I'm going to get a manual turntable because I think I really want to understand all of the adjustments that you can make. And I got to do that first because in comparison to the Denon that I have. Because I've never experienced doing that. I've never used a counter, used that little weight that's like a fishing weight at the end of a line and the adjustment for the elbow.
I don't actually like the fishing weight for the anti-skate. Those I think are too dubious. I just I like the spring ones where you can dial it in.
Yeah.
Well,
I just want to see if I can if there's sonic differences by making these adjustments that are noticeable or
yeah,
not.
it's so and it's so hard to tell. I mean, there will be gross differences between stuff, but it's hard to tell for the most part. Like on the anti-skate, the one I can tell it on is that FFYX. But that I can, adjust the anti-skate on the fly, and it's just a lot tweakier, and that's a really tweaky turntable. So
right. And the Luxman is a electronic.
That Luxman I have is fully automatic. It is a linear tracker, and not a high end linear tracker, but it's still very, very good. So
yeah,
I don't know. It to me has, some that to me it has a very, very neutral sound, just very smooth neutral sound. Hey, we got somebody. Stevie, come in and say something smart.
Hello.
He's dying.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Can you hear me?
Can hear
you just fine. Yeah.
How's things?
Things are good.
Probably better than you are. I'm not experiencing explosive diarrhea, so.
No, it's
we're here.
It's just
we're
like
here. He's done. Hold on. Oops. You're in Cebu, and my banner is not working.
Hang on a sec.
Okay. No, he'll be back.
There are other Luxman had other turntables that were more highly regarded. I don't know if you can find them there, but I have a Rotel RP855 turntable that I think is really excellent, and those will not run. They don't fetch all that much, but that one I really like. It's all manual, which is and I'm kind of lazy, so
I'm back.
There you are. That's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, sorry. A lot of staff converged on where I was because one of the tables is broken.
I see.
I accidentally broke it. Sort of.
I see.
Hello, everybody. How's the final live stream from Okayama?
It is good. There. I made a banner for you, Stevie.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm not in Cebu. I'm actually in Coron in Palawan Islands, and this is a short trip from Cebu. So I can show you the bay if you like. But it's quite hot out here, so
yeah.
So this is where I am.
Yep.
Very cool.
I think over there is a Sedilion or something, which is an island that the United States ran as a leper colony research. It was the final leper colony in the world. So we went on island hopping, which nearly killed me. A day's activity. So I needed a day in bed after that. So yeah, we're just planning on. So we've been here 4 days, and then we'll go back today about midday. So what have you guys been talking about?
Oh, I went through some of my new acquisitions, including my Acker Bilk and things like that.
Yeah, Michael, I think we've got some important news. You know, the Minnesota serial killer. You know, it was like they couldn't find him, but it was like multiple stab wounds. But how they knew he was a serial killer, he left Acker Bilk running on the turntable every time, and it was like a penknife, multiple penknives. So I think we've got a lead on that one.
I think that if you leave Acker Bilk playing long enough, you'll beg for the knife. Kill me now, kill me, for God's sake.
I saw your video, Dan, and somehow Acker Bilk is very fitting for your lounge. You know, and it sounded really good on those speakers.
It's
You're muted, Stevie.
Am I?
It is probably fitting. It is. You know, it does actually work with those speakers. The speakers don't have much bass, so you know, something like the easy listening stuff will work better on that. Some of the hard rock stuff won't work as well. Although Shadow Kingdom, that new Dylan album, which I'm still listening to a bunch, it has some real bass. In my car, you know, listening to it in my car on Bluetooth, man, it rattles the heck out of my speakers in the car. But it just sounds good on the through those old Pioneers of mine. The Pioneers have doped surrounds, so you know, the doped fabric surrounds, which I like. But they don't have a ton of bass. But they have a nice.
Stevie can use your help when he's putting together his new system, can't you, Stevie?
Yeah. It's a gradual build. I mean, I was showing bits and bobs. You can hear me, okay, Michael?
You can hear just fine. Just fine.
Well, I was showing bits and bobs to Michael. We had a bit of an argument because I was saying, look, I've got 2 amplifiers here, and I've weighed them. One was about sort of the weight of about a brick, and the other was a weight about 2.5 bricks. And I said, look, Michael, the heavier one is the better amplifier. It's that simple.
Yeah.
Or am I wrong?
No, the heavier one. I mean, I guess Topping has some Class D amplifiers. Some of the Class D amplifiers are supposed to be very good. Generally speaking, though, you need that big iron in there for that transformer. And you just can't. It's no replacement for displacement.
I told you, Michael. I've won that argument.
So you're going to get a scale, Stevie, and in your video, you're going to.
I'm going to say heavier one is better.
Yeah, it's you'll typically just have that. I mean, you can't do much for transformer designs. You know, the bigger the transformer, almost always the better the amplifier.
Yeah, Michael doesn't really know this stuff very well.
Because I think it's pancake.
Oh my God, who's that?
It's pancake.
My dogs have decided that something is happening. I don't know.
For a second there, I thought that was Michael's wife.
Easy.
Driven insane by the packing up.
Driven barking mad? Yeah, well.
Any other technical questions, Stevie, now that you have Dan's full attention?
Not that I can think of right now, but I will. Okay. I will do a video, sort of say calling all audiophiles, and I'm going to go through the assorted bits of junk I have and try to put a system together. But,
right.
With a bit of a plot.
I am all for just. I swap turntables in particular out all the time.
You do?
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah.
Dan,
Yeah. I mean, just it's just constant. You know, I'm and
How many
you know,
how many have you got now, Dan? Is it about 76 or something?
65 probably.
Wow, 65.
Yeah, not all of them are
65.
functional, but
That's
I've
not
got some,
unreasonable.
yeah, I've got some beaters, but yeah. I mean, I have some that I have some that stay. You know, I've got some, and you know, I've got like 6 setups.
Are you living alone?
Yes.
Just there's no obviously there's no connection there.
No,
That's just,
no.
a man
Yeah,
needs a hobby. A man needs a hobby.
well, I have a bunch, but yeah, decorating with I decorate with turntables and guitars and amplifiers, and you know.
So you're not really even living in a house. You're just living in a man cave.
Yeah, it's pretty much every except for my daughter's room. The rest of it I've taken over. You know,
so if you did have a date, they'd walk in and say, "Can you just call me a taxi, please?"
Well, that's hard here because there is no taxi that runs out here.
Michael said,
I said you're gonna quote me.
This is looking more like the Acker Bilk serial killer every night. Like, no taxis coming for you.
It rubs the lotion. It rubs the lotion into his skin. Yeah.
So, Michael, have you packed up your vinyl and gear yet?
All done.
That is the final stage.
He's Psycho Splatters.
Did it
And Susan, by the way, Stevie can speak knowledgeably about my house.
Okay, right. She's one that you let go, obviously.
No, well, I mean,
she's
current. She's the thing, man.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So she was here just a few weeks ago.
She's not worried about Acker Bilk or anything like that, or knives lying around.
She's all in.
Yeah, yeah. You'd think that.
Bit of a tomboy into knives.
Climbing. Very tolerant of my eccentricities, which are many.
Yeah.
So.
Any bones handy, Dan, that you could throw?
Oh, I don't know what happened to her, and then a boat went past, and Pancake's all agitated about that. So, hey, Claire is going nuts about something.
Eclair and Pancake.
Yes.
Can you get eclairs and pancakes where you are, Stevie?
There is a quite an array of breakfast materials.
Yes.
They cater for Asian people and Filipinos in particularly, but not the British. Not the British. There is a sausage, but it's like been processed to death. In fact, I don't think it was ever alive. And that will definitely give you diarrhea. So it's like having lunch things on the menu for breakfast. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's you can have scrambled egg on toast or one choice of cereal. It's pretty dire, really. So it was either coming on this live stream or going up the road to the only hygienic place in the town, which is McDonald's, unfortunately.
Thank you for your choice. Thank you for your choice.
Yeah. And it's raining here now. I'm putting the work in here.
I think Susan has made a breakup declaration with Dan, saying that she could live without Dylan because Dan cannot.
That's pretty much true. Yeah, I'm a big Dylan fan, man. Well,
he doesn't keep in touch with me at all, Bob Dylan.
No. You're not a Dylan fan. You never mentioned Dylan.
Me?
Yeah.
You know what? I was thinking of doing, people coming up with ideas about vinyl videos, and I'm going to do a video. Vinyl I'm collecting now that I didn't think that I would collect at the start of. You know what I mean? Didn't think I should have oughta, but I did it. And Bob Dylan seems to have come up a few times, so Bob Dylan will be in that video. But yeah, I need to get around to playing it, of course. But yeah, so Bob Dylan is one of those. Other things would be like Roxy Music and Japan, things that didn't originally go into the teenage collection. But I seem to have found more Bob Dylan via Neil Young, if you know what I mean. I don't know if that makes sense. Neil Young, and then sort of listening to the band, and then the band, and then listening more to Bob Dylan for some reason, you know.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, without Dylan, there would not have been the band.
Well, there wouldn't have been the band, no. That's for sure.
Yeah, the band and the band. A few years ago, my ex bought a CD of the greatest bands, greatest hits, or something. It was something that you could find at Starbucks. Starbucks used to sell CDs every now and then. And she brought it back, and I opened. I was like, "Oh yeah, the band, man, yeah, I love the band." And I read the liner notes, and they did not mention Dylan at all.
Wow.
The liner notes didn't mention Dylan. I'm like, man, and
that is ungrateful.
Yeah, and I suspect Robbie Robertson had something to do with that.
Robbie Robinson was very good, but he was a bit of an ego, wasn't he? He's the guy who got all the money.
Yeah. Levon Helm sure ended up hating him.
You would think there would be a bit more even distribution, given what the band was. But he seems to have come out of it sort of smiling with all the royalties, and the others.
Yeah, and Garth Hudson, there was a period when Garth Hudson was actually earning more than the rest of them. He was being paid to teach them how to read music.
Wow.
So.
Well, there you are.
Yeah, and although I have to say, in fairness to Robbie Robertson, a great guitarist.
Yeah.
Great guitarist, and he wrote. Look, The Weight is just a great song. The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down is like the one song about the Civil War, from a Southerner's perspective that isn't offensive.
Yeah,
and
it's all classic, and like The Last Waltz is something that's missing from my collection that definitely needs to be there, I think.
Yeah, that is, although we were talking about Neil Diamond being in there, earlier speaking about Neil Diamond being in there, which is really weird.
Well, he ended up, he was sort of a bit at loggerheads with Dylan, wasn't he? But they ended up being quite friendly in the end, I think.
Neil Diamond and Dylan?
Yeah, and they're all, that it was kind of like the band that brought them all together, I think.
I can't. I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't think. I couldn't imagine Dylan paying much attention to Neil Diamond. And Dylan is funny. He's had a few things, but with other artists, but he's also very, very appreciative.
Yeah. Dylan. Just something popped into my head. Then Dylan did a film kind of project in the 80s or something, and it was on TV a while ago. And I'm trying to remember the name of it. And it was like one of these films that's trying to be sort of arty-farty but fails. And it was the most atrocious film.
Not Ronaldo and Clara.
I can't remember, but Dylan is one of the kind of the main characters. I'll have to look that up. But it was absolutely atrocious.
Well, there's his Ronaldo and Clara was generally considered one of the worst,
That's gotta be it.
Yeah, I thought that was from the 70s, but it could have been from the 80s.
That was
I might be wrong on that.
Yeah, and I read a long time ago. I found Bob Dylan's novel kind of book, Tarantula, and I was like, oh, I'm so excited, and I read it, and I was like, oh, gee, and I thought it was terrible. Yeah. So
they all these people, they have kind of like a period, and Bob Dylan in his early 20s was a songwriting absolute genius, wasn't he? Just something clicked, and the songs are just so brilliant. And he was so young at the time.
He was turning out stuff that was just pretty amazing.
Like you talk about
a time out of mind, with Not Dark Yet, and Standing in the Doorway, and that is not Dark Yet is a great song. So he he has continued to do some great stuff, and some of the stuff on Rough and Rowdy Ways is excellent.
Yeah, so I'm still entry level with the vinyl, collecting bits and bobs, and I've got
bits and bobs and bits of Bob.
Yeah, bits of Bob. Yeah. So I'll listen to that, and then I'll decide what. I won't get the whole completest lot, but all of the early stuff, sure. Yeah. What about?
I don't have the religious albums.
No. What about you, Michael? What do you have?
I have New Morning, and I have John Wesley Harding.
Yeah.
And
that's one I've missed several times.
That might be it. I mean, I've had others along the way, that I had and I owned, and
I've got more than you.
Those are the two that I have.
I'm the dental expert here.
John Wesley Harding is, I think, one of his most underrated albums. That is a great album.
That film clip, the clip from the film, I often watch that. It's absolutely brilliant. Where they have the shootouts. That's just such a classic film clip.
From Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid.
Yeah.
That Mama, take this gun off of me. I can't use it anymore.
Yeah, it's absolutely wonderful.
And I guess the music director for the film hated the song, but Dylan was like, "No, you do it." And it's, I don't know what's going on with these guys tonight. I should have put them in their crates.
Maybe somebody's breaking into the house. You might want to.
Well, they can break in.
An armed robbery in progress or something.
They could break in. The question is whether they'll leave.
Yeah. They've got the Acker Bilk serial killer to deal with.
Yeah.
So Michael, you're all ready to go for this new exciting venture?
I'm all ready to go, but still some more packing to do today.
Are we getting a live stream from the next one's from the new pad, with boxes all over the floor?
I mean, just gotta get that broadband. It's coming on Monday.
Well, they say it's coming on Monday.
Oh no, in Japan, when they say it's coming on Monday, it comes on Monday.
It's coming down the line.
Yeah, it's
full force.
Not dealing with Comcast there.
No. But it should be fine.
Round the back of me, I'm actually not far away from the junction box. It's round the back of my house, and there's a repairman there either every day or every other day. And he showed me. He said, "Well, this is this company, this is this company, and this is just Spaghetti Junction. It's every man for himself." That is UK broadband,
Because there's multi-carrier. There's more than one carrier there, right?
Well, it depends. Some companies, they'll have their own section of the broadband supply.
Right.
So it's guaranteed for their customers, and there's two of those, and then it's just every other company just piggybacks off what's left, So, I mean, basically every UK broadband company can be summed up in one word, and that word is a very technical word. It's called bullshit. Okay? It's just whatever they say to you is lies. Any date is lies. Guaranteed megabytes per second, lies. It's all lies.
Quality of service.
Yeah, there's no service, believe me. It's lies.
That's too bad. They have 5G.
Sorry.
Is 5G deployed?
Not in the Southwest, no.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
If you say 5G, you'll get a man, with a smock, with a herd of cows. Go 5G? What be that then? 5G? No 5G here. No, this one's Daisy. This one's Mavis. She's going to the knacker's yard next week. No, there's no 5G here, mate. No, we won't have 5G for another century or so. Yeah. But actually, I have to say, I'm sat out by the pool, and the Wi-Fi here is holding up pretty well.
It really is. It really is.
I was going to do a big.
I'm not going to feel too sorry for your explosive diarrhea there, because that's a hell of a place,
Stevie.
man.
It is. Well, hang on, because don't be fooled, because there's no choice for breakfast. The high street needs. Let's just say they could do with tarmac on the road and the pavement, right? If you ride one of the trikes and you have a back problem, let's just say you'll have a much bigger back problem when you get off.
This is the part of the segment where it's give the Brit an opportunity to complain.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Michael. I mean, this is the competition. I was going to do a breakfast competition. Would you eat this, or name an LP that's similar to this food? But no, I demand my minute to complain about the weather. It's too blimmin' hot and humid. Yep. Still got the shits. They're following me around, but I'm acclimatizing a little bit. So
that's good. That's good.
So for that challenge, name a food like this album: Cheese Whiz. Cheese Whiz. There you go.
Right. Okay.
Well, guys.
And this is
where can I just?
But this is
Bobby.
This is some slow smoked ribs, man, right there.
Bobby's got a date with his daughter that couldn't be adjusted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bobby's a good man.
They finally taken him to prison. Okay, I get what you're saying.
Okay. Guys, I need
to go. It's quitting time.
If you want to stay and talk, you're welcome.
Play us out with Howlin Island.
Okay. It's 9 o'clock and we got to rock. So we say, as we always say to you, nos enfants, vous êtes très jolis, vous êtes très intelligents.
Au revoir.
Nous vous aimons. Et nous disons au revoir et aussi à bientôt.
Signing off with diarrhea.
Sayonara.
Salamat.